Final Fantasy VII, a very integral game in PlayStation's history, and widely considered one of the best games ever created. However, something that's come up a lot recently for a lot of fans of the series and overall modern-day gamers is the issue of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Today, I, Ryan for the Nostalgia Factor, and my good friend on YouTube, GameOnGNT, will be analyzing our own thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII Remake and the future of it. Before we get into GameOnGNT's thoughts, I just want to say straight off the bat that the Final Fantasy VII Remake looks absolutely beautiful. The very little footage that we have gotten has proven to me, at least, that this remake has a lot of promise for the graphics, for the visual fidelity, for the animation of each one of the characters. This looks like a remake similar to like the Insane Trilogy that looks amazing. It looks like it's going to be great. However, to me, the mechanical changes that the game is going to be making, if and when it ever releases, the standard game that came out in the PlayStation 1 back in 1997, Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 was an RPG. This game will not be an RPG. Now, I'm not saying that RPGs aren't a big factor of gaming anymore. They still are. But for whatever reason, Square Enix seems to want to make it an open world experience, wants to make it more of a close quarter combat type thing, third person kind of hack and slash game, so to speak. Similar to Kingdom Hearts, for example. It's kind of like taking Kingdom Hearts into Final Fantasy VII. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but me personally, if I would want the game to be completely remade originally from the way it was, I would personally want the RPG elements. I know there's a lot of people who like this new system that they're doing, but a lot of people like me want the RPG elements in there. I think that that would be great, but that's more a personal preference than a fact. Now, the main issue at hand and what you guys saw in the title of this video: what do we think of the Final Fantasy VII Remake ever possibly releasing? As beautiful as it looks, as beautiful as the combat looks, and as questionable as some of the design changes are, none of that will matter if the game never releases. This game has been in development hell for a few years now. It's been about 4 years since its initial reveal, and let me just say that the development cycle, from the sound of it, has not been good. With the interference of the development team going through their own issues, with the rehiring of people and the firing of people, with them trying to scramble to get Kingdom Hearts 3 out as fast as possible, which they finally did this year, but that cost them a lot of time and setbacks. Final Fantasy VII looks like this game may never release, and that's a sad thing to say, because we've gotten little to no news. We've gotten one trailer, one screenshot from a random convention, and just bits and pieces of news over the past few years. And other Final Fantasy games in the past have taken 5 to 10 years for them to fully develop. So while I'm not saying the game will never come out, it may take a long time before any of us even see anything related to the game. And again, as someone who really wants to see this remake, it's kind of sad, in all honesty, because it's either, to me, we're either not going to get the game because of the current development cycle, or it's just going to take forever. And honestly, I might be old and withered by the time it comes out, and I might not even know how to use an Xbox or a PS4. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not hating on Final Fantasy VII by any means. I love the game. The remake looks amazing. However, I don't have the highest hopes of it releasing anytime soon, or even the possibility of it possibly coming out. But fingers crossed that it happens someday. Either way, this has been my general thoughts on the game. Let us go into GameOnGNT and see what he thinks.
Final Fantasy VII was one of the most important RPGs on the PlayStation 1. This is the game that paved the way for other JRPGs to follow, with massive TV commercials, huge FMV scenes, and the iconic battle between Cloud, Strife, and Sephiroth. This game stands the test of time as one of Square's greatest games. And it will never be remade. Let's just get this out there, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to spend more time talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake than Square Enix has done over the past 4 years. Demand for the remake and rumors of it happening began in 2005, when Square remade the opening scene of Final Fantasy VII for a PS3 tech demo. Remake was then officially announced at the 2015 Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3, during the PlayStation conference. And fans went nuts for it. They wanted more. Fast forward 4 years now, and what do we know about the project? Well, we saw a gameplay trailer put out at PSX 2015, and since then, nothing. Well, almost nothing. At Final Fantasy's 30th anniversary celebration in Japan in 2017, a CGI key visual was released. They also announced that the game was planned for a multi-game episodic release, similar to Life is Strange. Also, each of those episodic games would be a similar scale to Final Fantasy XIII. And at E3 2018, it was stated that the game was still in active development, but Square Enix's focus was getting Kingdom Hearts 3 ready for its release. So I'll be honest and start things off by saying Final Fantasy VII Remake, what we've seen of it anyway, is gorgeous, and I can only bet would be a hell of a lot of fun to play. That being said, the project just seems too grand of a scope to be real. A 3-part game, with each game the size of Final Fantasy XIII? Development for 13 began in 2004 and lasted until 2009. That's 5 years. Now for a more recent example, look at Final Fantasy XV. That game began development in 2006, and it finally released in 2016, 10 years later. And even then, people were complaining that the game felt unfinished, as more DLC came along with patches to address some issues with early versions of the game. We're 4 years into the development of the Final Fantasy VII Remake now, and the only thing we've seen is a trailer of the opening bombing run in Midgar, the first half hour of a 40-hour game. And that's not even taking into question some of the questionable content from Final Fantasy VII's original release that may not even be kosher now, like cross-dressing Cloud, Don Corneo, and the rumors that were swirling about Tifa's appearance in the remake. It's more likely that Team 4-Star will complete Final Fantasy VII Machina Bridge before the first part of this game even sees the light of day. Do I want to see this game? Absolutely. Final Fantasy VII is the reason I bought a PlayStation 1 in the first place. It was amazing. I just don't think anyone should get their hopes up that this game will be completed in a reasonable amount of time. And even if it is, that will only be the first part of what Square has said will be a multi-installment remake. We could be waiting decades for a complete remake to be released. That's all from me on this one. I'm Jeff Johnson from GameOnGNT and JJ Plays Everything. Thanks for listening.
And this is going to wrap up today's gaming discussion, guys. First off, GameOnGNT, thank you for joining me, man. As always, if you guys want to go check him out in the description down below and support him. But, yeah, this has been our general overall thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I know that for a lot of fans of the series, and even gamers in general, this is a questionable topic that a lot of people, have their own input to give. So if you guys want to give yours, you can put them in the comments. If you guys did enjoy this video, give it a like, and subscribe if you guys want to catch more videos like this in the future. More collaborations, more gaming videos related to discussions, reviews, that kind of thing. That's what I do here. Mostly centered around retro stuff, but occasionally we'll do stuff about modern gaming. But either way, once again, guys, thank you for watching. And until next time, Nostalgics, this has been Ryan from the Nostalgia Factor saying, keep on gaming.